The Knockemount series by Lucy Score is one of the most conflicting romances I've ever read, and not in a great way, but not in a bad way. When I originally got the Knockemount series, I thrifted it, and I only thrifted this book. Which, if you can tell from the way I'm holding these books, is the third book in the series, which I did not know. I just picked it up. I thought it was the first book, or I thought they were like, they are interconnected standalones. Like, the thing is, you can read the first book and you can read the third book, but if you're going to read the second book without reading the first book, it's a little bit like, what is going on? But then if you read the third book, you just get all the information and you're just like, okay. So that's what happened. I read the third book first, and I fell in love with it. This was a 10 out of 10. I had no notes. This is a 5-star, 10 out of 10. And my original copy was so beaten up and was so water damaged because I spilled water on it that I had to, and I had to get a new copy of it. And I was like, okay, well, I don't really care about the condition of my books, so I'll just go thrift the other books. I love that book so much. And I thrifted that one, so I was like, okay, I'll thrift the other books. And I went back for them, and they weren't there, so some bitch took them. So I had to get the series. I had to buy the series new, which y'all know I don't like to do. But I was like, I love this series so much. Like, I read the third book. I loved it so much that I had to get the rest of them. And I found it was so... Let me just talk about the third book. It was an enemies to lovers. They're all enemies to lovers, kind of. But this one's true enemies to lovers. Like, they have beef. Like, it's not just like, oh, I just randomly hate you. Like, no, they have reasons. Reasons that they need to talk through over and over and over again. It was just, their relationship was interesting. Their backstories were interesting. The way that the third book is made, like, I didn't even realize it was the third book until I finished it. And I looked on Kindle for the other books, and I realized, oh, it says number 3. Because everything was made, it was like so airtight. Like, there were so many characters, but it felt like everything was explained well. But it didn't like re-explain things. It just was like, yeah, this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And I was like, okay. Like, it just seemed like a very interesting plot to me. But then I realized for reading the other 2 books, I was like, no, that's the shit that happened in the other 2 books. Anyways, but it's about this librarian and this, like, I don't want to say billionaire mogul, but he's kind of like billionaire vibes. But he's like with the good guys. Like, he takes down the bad guys. You know what I mean? And it's all about how when they were younger, she kind of saved him from an domestic abusive home. But the thing is, it kind of backfired a little bit, and then that created beef between them because he was like, you can't tell anyone about this. And then obviously she told somebody. So then they had beef for like the rest of their lives, and this is like 20 years after it happened. So like it's a slow burn. And eventually they're like, we hate each other so much, and we can't do anything. Like, everything in our lives is halted by the fact that we hate each other so much. We just need to get over it for the benefit of everyone around us. And they're like, okay, well, how do we do that? And they're like, okay, let's just do it, get it out of our systems, get all the hate out of our systems, and then we'll be done. Well, that's not exactly how it happened, but that happens like this much into the book. This one is a true, I don't want to say a true slow burn, because I don't think this is like as slow as a slow burn. but it takes a while, and the banter and the fighting and the everything is so addicting. They were just, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. So I recommend this book, the third in the series. And I say that you can read it alone. And I say that because I didn't really enjoy the first two books. I didn't enjoy them as much. I read the first book, okay? The first book, The Things We Never Got Over. It follows, oh, I didn't even say who it follows. Like, it's a small town romance, so it's kind of like you see all the characters in this book, and then in a second book, it's another two characters that you saw in the first book, and then in this book, it's another two characters that you saw in this book. Like, you know, like, she can make 8 books just out of the amount of characters that were in these books, because she has so many characters. Like, it's found family. It's really extensive. Like, it's plot heavy, I find. Or at least here, it's plot heavy. And then the romance, once the romance comes, then it's fine. But it's like, wow, like, it's a lot of information. And in here, it was nice. I rated this an 8 out of 10. But it was kind of like insta-hate. So basically, Naomi has a twin sister who's like an avid criminal, and then this guy was like, thought she was her twin and like got super mad at her or whatever. And then he's like this entrepreneur who like owns everything because he won the lottery. So he like buys her things. Like, he's really, even though he's like super grumpy, and it's like Grumpy Sunshine, this is like grumpy. This is Grumpy Sunshine. And he like buys her everything. I'm doing a horrible way of describing this book, but it's just like, if I were to really get into everything that happened, like, first of all, I can't remember. Like, it's just, there's just so much that happens in these 3 books that it's way too much to explain it all. But it's important to note that in this book, his brother gets shot. And that is a plot point for the rest of the books. Like, it is mentioned in this book, and it gets solved in this book, but it happens in this book. So that's how long this thing goes. And near the end, she like gets kidnapped a little bit, and her sister ends up getting her out of that kidnapping because her sister technically like kidnaps her and her niece. Like, it's just so complicated that it's like saying it out loud makes me feel stupid. Anyways, but it's like this high intensity last 20 pages, and then a Now I Love You scene during the high intensity moment. And I was like, okay, that's different. It's okay. I rated it at an 8 out of 10. I didn't enjoy it as much. I didn't feel like they had as much chemistry. I just felt like it was just a lot of bickering, but not a lot of reason for the bickering. Like, they were just bickering for, like, bitch's sake. Now this book. Lucy, I fell in love with you. I was still in love with you. We might have to talk about separation. Lucy. You went, I wrote this book. Let me just do it again. In this book, it is like, instead of bad boy, good girl, it's bad girl, good boy. Okay. I mean, at least that's kind of unique. I don't see that a lot. But it's the same plot. Not with, obviously, the sister thing, but it's just like, she comes into town and it's like, oh my god, and then suddenly they're neighbors. They're always neighbors, by the way. In all 3 books, the lovers are neighbors. Okay. Like, they can't live more than 5 minutes away from each other. But anyways. But he's a police chief, And normally I don't read about cops, so that was kind of a thing. Yeah, that doesn't turn me on at all. That kind of makes me like, but he's one of the good ones. He's fixing it from the inside because that's how it works. And then she's kind of like this bad girl. Like, she's basically just the brother from this book. And I just instantly, like, she was just some rando. Like, for this one, Sloane was, like, she was interconnected in the story. Naomi in all the stories was interconnected. But Angelina, where is she in the other stories? She shows up in the first book as Knox's ex, as the brother's ex, kisses him, and then is like, I was just here because blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't even remember. It was just some bullshit. But then she becomes friends with the girl that he's actually going to get with. But that's it. That's all her role is just to be the ex. And then they have her falling in love with her ex's brother, but they don't mention that, like, at all. But it's like, that's her ex's brother, and you're not going to have any beef? Like, they're just okay. Like, you could have made that a thing, but you didn't make that a thing. And then, what is it? Like, she's some bullshit investigator, and they're both working, like, he got shot, and she's basically investigating the same guy who shot him, and that creates, like, a whole thing between them. He's like, you betrayed my trust. You betrayed my trust. I trusted you. I let you into my life. I was vulnerable with you. And then you just used me for your job. And then he is such a whiny bitch the whole time. It was so unattractive. And not only is he a whiny bitch, he's obsessed with her, which is usually a good thing. But he was downright pathetic. Like, he was trauma bonding to her. Like, that's what it was. It wasn't really love. It was just, he was trauma bonding. He's like, I can't breathe without you. Like, obviously he's traumatized from being shot. And he's like, you make my life so much easier. I was just so depressed before. And, like, you're the only thing in my life that gives me meaning. And it's, like, toxic, low-key. High-key toxic. It's high-key. Anyway, I'm sounding annoying. And she just low-key doesn't even like him. It's insta-lust. Instantly, like, no reason, they have hard-ons and boners for each other. But it's, like, not explained at all. It's just like, oh my god, I can't breathe without her. And it's like, all she is beautiful. And then, so that was, like, a big thing. Like, they had no chemistry, and it was insta-lust. And there was just some weirdness with the sex scenes and the spicy scenes. Like, one of their first, like, excuse me. Like, literally, they're flirting. Like, they insta-lust. By insta-lust, I mean they're talking about their penises this far into the book. Not their penises, his penis. And she's, like, flirting with him and telling him to sleep with her. And, like, it's just, like, I hate it. And then, yeah, but the spicy scenes, like, maybe this far into the book, they are sleeping together because it makes him feel safe. Okay. And there's, like, a pillow between them. And then somehow in the middle of the night, she ends up over the pillow, her ass to his crotch. But not only that, his hand is up her shirt gripping her breast. But not only that, she's not wearing any shorts, and his penis is so far into her thighs, how is that physically possible, that it's touching her clit, and she has an orgasm and comes on him. That is their first time. This happens twice. His penis jumps out of his pants in his sleep. But his penis is out, by the way. And she's obviously not wearing shorts. And somehow he's gripping her breast. And somehow his penis lodges so deep, like, between her thighs, which I have meaty thighs, so that's not physically possible. But even for the skinniest bitch imaginable, what? He would have to literally, like, thrust in there for that to be humanly. It was just so bullshit. The entire time I was like, what are you, Lucy? Where did the plot go? I'm not even, you know what, it's not even where did the plot go. It's just like, you made a good book. You just made the same book again, but worse. And then you finally decided, hey, let's make a good book. It was just so bad throughout the entire book. I skimmed most of this book, and I really only read the spicy scenes because the plot was boring and frustrating. Because he was just a whiny bitch the whole time. And yeah, it was insta-lust, and then obviously he's so obsessed with her, and she's still like non-committal. But obviously they get married and have 2 babies. Sure, why not? Anyways, I gave this a 6 out of 10. I think I'm going to lower my rating. I think this is a 5. So, for the Knockemount series, 8 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 10 out of 10. I don't know what happened at all. Like, I don't know what was going on in Lucy Score's brain, because she is somehow the best and the worst. I am going to read more of her stuff, hoping it's going to be like this book, but I feel like it's going to be like this book. Anyways, I do suggest you read the series. It's an interesting series if you like plot-heavy, like, good romance, or good smut, at least. Like, plot-heavy, with, like, found family, and, like, it's a small town, and everyone knows each other, and you're gonna get everybody's stories. Like, you're gonna know 45 characters by the end of book 1. If you like that kind of thing, then I think that's a series that you'll end up liking. Like, I liked this series. It's just the second book, I didn't love it. So, but it wasn't horrible. Like, I've definitely read worse. So, I still recommend this series. So, yeah, that's my review of it. Hopefully you liked it. I will review more book series in the future. Bye.